Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to Adam's Quest. In the last episode, Moonflower's striking resemblance to the big-eyed ape shocked quite a few of her tribe mates. She looks almost exactly like this fiend, with her golden fur and her strange, almost gray stripes. So if the big-eyed ape gets a glimpse of her, he might just think that she's his daughter. We're going to have to keep her very, very well hidden. It makes me think that some of her tribe mates might be happier to banish her. Maybe they would see her as a different sort of omen, one more connected to the chaotic side of the jungle, and they might not want to have her around just in case she brings that bad luck upon them. She's lucky that Citrus is hiding her away so well. He's so devoted to keeping his daughter safe. Because there is one very big difference between her and the ape, and that's that she can't see very well at all. So if she ends up on her own, there is the possibility that she could stumble straight into one of these carnivorous plants. And if our bluebird leader, Rila, isn't around to help her, she might just be stuck forever. She does have a bit of a different situation to deal with after all, as she has just discovered a little Roanoke here, sneaking around in the grass. His position so close to the healing fruits makes me think that he must be some sort of jungle healer. Though thanks to his rather goofy appearance, I do think he would be the very clumsy sort. He also shouldn't be able to get around very well. I guess his runner's leg is helping, but those frog toes of his are going to make it very hard to hop through the jungle. At the very least, what I would like for him to do is start making pathways to our fruits. That'll ensure that our creatures can get to the medicines in case they do get a little bit injured by this ape. But it'll also ensure that we have some escape routes for them to take, especially when it comes to these thicker weeds. This was what really slowed us down before. Oh, and you have little bunny friends out here too? Stealing your berries. That's what I was afraid of. We really need to get a move on with our food collecting. Our poor tribe is likely to starve if we're not careful. But I'm afraid that Truffle is not the one to get us our food. She's still trying desperately to lead this big-eyed ape away from her tribe. So we don't want to set her up on the jungle tiles. That's what's making it so hard for the ape to see her. Her mushroom spots help her blend in very well with the jungle scenery. So we want her to stay somewhere on the beach. That way she's still at least visible to him. I think she should be okay here, right? He can only move 2 tiles, and it seems like he moves twice in one turn. So he'll be able to get to her, but I'm not sure if he'll be able to take a swipe. If he does, though, oh gosh, if he does, then she might be done. There might be no saving her. So I guess that's where Wolfsbane is going to come in. He's kind of like our backup right now, clearing out yet more pathways for our tribe to take, and making sure that the ape is still following very close by. Wolfsbane is definitely visible. The only thing that keeps him camouflaged is when he's hiding in the tall grass. So revealed like this, the ape should have no trouble finding him. I think they should still have his attention, which leaves this family to hopefully have a few more babies, but not before scooting down here to pick up some berries, because that's what we desperately need at the moment. So settle down on the tall grass for us and breed again with Citrus, and on the next turn, we'll see if we can set you guys up with another baby. We'll go ahead and have Moonflower pack away the nest that her mother made for her. Maybe she'll even get the chance to use that in the future for her own babies too. I do wish that she had mutated the nimble fingers, because these acorns would give us so much food. We need to find another family who might be a little more willing to pick up the acorns too. And unfortunately, that's not going to be Rihanna's family. She is far more concerned with the side of strength. She's actually quite offended that her sister doesn't seem to share her views. But I suppose she can lead Haunt up to this lake, because we know there are plenty of piranha in here. And Haunt should actually be able to scoop up every last one. Rihanna, unfortunately, isn't quite the same. She can only attempt. So maybe with your last 2 turns, you could just clear out a pathway for us? That way Haunt can make his way right over to the edge. Now I did see some normal little fish swarms down there too. It looks like our fish swarms can actually inhabit the same tile as the piranha, so you might have some food to scoop up as well. I'm sure that will be very impressive to Rihanna, to see him grabbing up the fish with ease, but it's no surprise that he's become so skilled. He used to watch these piranha fish in the tide pools with just as much fascination as illusion. The only difference is, she wants to study them for different purposes. She doesn't want to catch them to eat them. She actually wants to see if she can come up with a little breakthrough for the healers. So let's have her settle down on the shores. That way she can get a little bit closer to our toxic-bodied creatures and try to lure them toward the water too. She already knows that Leaf is quite interested. He's still watching them skitter down the waterfall. So if she can only lure him closer to the water's edge, with promise of many, many more fish in the waves, she might be able to sneak a little leech on him too. I think we should be all out of turns though. We could possibly have Truffle gather up some stinky fruits, but I'm a little bit concerned to put her in harm's way again. I mean, if we run into a smelling ape out here, that would definitely give her a run for her money. She doesn't have the stinky tail to keep her safe like Wolfsbane. So instead, let's have her pick up these weeds, and then we'll go ahead and skip the day, and cross our fingers that our big, friendly, big-eyed ape is still following right in her trail. Unfortunately, he was able to reach her, so we have to find you another healing fruit, but luckily they never seem to be too far away. You should be able to skitter your way straight over to the medicines. We're lucky that you're so fast on your feet. Now that she's on the ports, does that mean that this is counting as a jungle? Usually the ports don't act the same as the rest of the worlds. Yeah, it doesn't look like she's gaining any camouflage from this. Now, are these actually jungle ports? Or are they for the swamp? It's really hard to tell without any reeds or weeds to clear out, so I'm not quite sure what we're in store for anymore. Now the ape is over here, so with the tiles between us, he should still be able to see Truffle, and that means we can move a Wolfsbane out of harm's way, maybe scoot him to the other side, so she can pick up the bunny meat for him. Now, do you have any little berries to collect? Oh, thank goodness, just in time. I know that bunny has been quite the nuisance. In fact, the bunny that you caught over here was probably the very same one, so at least he won't be causing you trouble any longer. Now, clumsy, clumsy Roanoke here. I wonder if perhaps in his eagerness to create all of these pathways for our tribe, if he might find himself stumbling straight into the jaws of danger. Luckily, with Rila right by his side, she should be able to crack the carnivorous plant open again. But in the process, she's starting to realize just how absent-minded this creature is. She's going to have to keep our little jungle healer on a very tight leash if she wants to make sure that he doesn't get himself killed by accident. But I think his strange ways are softening her heart a little bit. It's just she's not really sure what her ancestors would think. It's not as though he's a creature of royalty. He doesn't have a single strong genetic to show. No stripes like Adam. Nothing to benefit her babies that she can see. But would that be any reason to deny her heart? Maybe it's time that she takes her destiny into her own hands and stops worrying so much about what her ancestors might think. Now, I think we should be safe to settle Wildflower down. And for that matter, we should be safe to start carving out this safe haven too. I think you guys should be okay to make a little bit more of a base for yourself, since the ape shouldn't be able to see you any longer. We'll just make sure to save a couple of pockets, that way the babies can at least hide away. So if the ape does turn around for some reason, we won't have to scramble to find a way out of it. Now you, Haunt, you have so many fish to scoop up, more than you can even fit in your claws. Rihanna, I suppose, could dive in too. She can crack open this plant for somebody else to gather, and then try her best to find those old fish swarms. You guys are going to make the perfect fishing team, feeding our tribe single-handedly. And now, Illusion, I think it's time for you to work your magic too. Come on down to the tide pools, Leaf. She has something to show you. Aren't these fish so pretty? Wouldn't you like to find more? She has seen her fair share of little fishy friends, and they're all deep down in the waves, waiting for you to come play. I think Harp would be interested just because she wants to find some adventure too. She's just like Truffle in that way. She's always wanted to go off for a grand adventure of her own, but her mother was never so willing to let her out of her sight, so she hasn't had the chance to truly stretch her wings. But since she does know the songs of the fairies and whatnot, I think she would actually make a good messenger? Is that what we would call them? Those creatures who would usually call out their songs to let our tribe know what's going on. So maybe she could sing to inform them about our war with the apes, or if we find more danger, or even if another royal baby is born, assuming that Rila doesn't attempt to hide them away too. But I think we should be ready to skip the day again, so let's zoom in on Truffle once more to make sure that she'll be okay. Good, this time it looks like she was just far enough away from this terrible ape. I hope we can still find a way to vanquish him, because I think that would give us plenty of food. Though it looks as if somebody may have passed away. Somebody may have gotten a little bit too old. Oh, it was Foxglove. Well, at least he spent his final days gathering food. I know he wanted to make a solid contribution to the tribe. He felt like ever since his daughter left, he really needed to pick up the slack. He needed to make her proud too. So I see you are quite interested in the piranha still, Leaf. Let's see if we can have him start tiptoeing into the waves. It is awfully bare out here, and I think Illusion would notice that too. So maybe she'd start leading him in this direction, where the fish are a bit more plentiful, and hopefully we'll find some kelp, where it might be likely that a little leech might spawn. And as for you guys, we'll go back to collecting your piranhas. Hopefully we have just one more that you can reach. Excellent! It almost looks like Rihanna is scaring them toward him. Actually, if we could loop her around this way, she could funnel each and every last one of these piranhas straight into his claws. Right now, though, I think she'd be a little bit more concerned with potentially starting a family. She sees that he has a lot of potential too, and she thinks they could make a very strong family together. If her sister is going to abandon the old ways, then she's going to try her best to uphold them. So let's try to turn this family into the healthiest, strongest family that we can. We'll go ahead and place the normal blood clotting gene into both of their slots, because I believe that could end up being quite the issue. And if these creatures are going to go out to war, they want to be able to survive a few hits. Then I guess the claw for her second slot, since that might be a little bit more helpful than the Berryina claw, at least when it comes to picking up these piranhas. And I think that's probably what she's realized too. Her Berryina claw isn't quite as skilled, because fishing requires a little bit more finesse. The stinky tail would also be quite helpful to keep on their babies. So go ahead and breed with Haunt, and then I guess on the next turn, we can set you up right by... Oh, she has an extra turn? I thought you only had 2 left. There we go, little one. You can set up your nest right now, while Haunt goes ahead and scoops up every last piranha that he can. Though we do have another baby to meet over here. Oh, and you are like the complete opposite of your brother? He has the melanism trait and the lean body. Oh, you are a sneaky little baby, aren't you? He also has the home island gene, so now we have 2 males who could give that to their babies. But he looks so pretty. Oh my gosh, the only part of him that isn't dark as night are his beautiful pink ram horns. He is a really interesting baby. This time, I think we'll go along with the theme of his mother and name this little baby Snapdragon. A rather intimidating name for somebody so small, but I think he's going to make some interesting stories in his time. Now it looks like Honeydew has his 2nd gem, which means he can take his first steps into the ocean. Oh, we haven't done this in quite some time. That water body makes it so we should be safe and sound, and he can go scouting around for fish. You know, Illusion might actually like this part of the island. It looks like there's plenty of kelp, so quite a bit of potential for those leeches that she's looking for. Oh, and a bunny. Oh, thank goodness you grabbed those berries. Fly on over here, Wildflower, because it's time for you to provide for your babies too. With the ape so far away, she is done hiding. She's ready to get back to her brash and bold nature. I'm sure Moonflower would like to come out here to meet the new little babies too. Her new little brothers, actually, who I'm sure will be quite protective of their big sister, especially if anybody comes around to try to scare her away. They're not going to let their family get ripped apart by any strange superstitions. So, Truffle, how are we going to play this one? There's no guarantee that there will be more healing fruits out this way, but as long as we can lead the ape toward these mountain ports, he should be far enough away that we won't have to worry about seeing his face again. So come on into the water. I think we want to get about 5 tiles away from him, so hopefully Wolfsbane can light up a good pathway for you. Ah, good. There's even more of the healing fruits for us over on this island. We are golden. Has Ronukir really been hiding like every single one of these? Has he been protecting them maybe? All this time? It's interesting too that so many of our medicines have been right here. Right about where we discovered Lalace and her sick brother. So it makes their story feel all the more fitting, that they were truly just living off on their own, and she was trying her best to sustain him in whatever small way that she could. But Rila, I think it might be time for you to ask Ronukir if he would be willing to start a family with you. I know it is a little bit out of the ordinary for somebody of such a high rank to settle down with a wanderer, but if there's one thing that she's realized as she's made her life way out in the deepest parts of the jungle, it's that strength can only get you so far. So maybe her mother was wrong. Maybe it's not right to continue this war with the apes, and it's time for them to find a different way to approach the situation. So I do want to make sure that the normal hind legs are on their babies. There is the possibility that Ronukir could pass down those frog toes, and that would not be the most helpful thing for our little jungle dwellers. They'd end up just as clumsy as their father. But since Rila is going to start a completely different branch, something totally different from what her mother intended, I'm going to place the nimble fingers into her second slot, and hopefully we'll see that special nimble-fingered baby that we so need. So go ahead and breed with Rila, hopefully, and then we'll have her place down her nest, and her baby should be very well hidden, away from any potential danger. Right in between so many food sources, so many medicines. We'll just have to be mindful of the carnivorous plant once it grows. But for now, I think we should be okay. maybe she should just give it a couple more smacks just in case, to make sure it's really dead, you know? Don't want her babies getting gobbled up as soon as they're born. But one more time, let's go ahead and skip the day, and we'll see what our 2 separate branches of the royal family are going to look like. Oh no, has the ape lost your scent? Or the sight of you, rather. You're going to want to find him very quickly. You can't risk him building a new base right in front of our ports. That is the last thing we want to see happen. This is where our tribe needs to go next. Oh, but it looks like Rila's little baby may have inherited the derp snout. I was actually hoping that her family could inherit the bird beak in their inactive traits. So that's really what we want to see here. But that being said, he does appear to have the nimble fingers. And those beautiful blue eyes, too. You are actually quite the interesting little lion. We'll have to send you over to those oak trees. We'll have him keep his name, of course, Little Takir, just like the pattern painter in our legends. Because Adam's family typically keeps those old names. That's one tradition that I feel like she would end up keeping, because it's how she was named too. But Rihanna over here might think a little differently. Oh my goodness, and look how majestic this baby looks in comparison. Oh, with amazing strength, the Berryina claw, the big claw too, and yet again, some beautiful blue eyes. So at least that's one thing that connects those 2 families. But how different their paths have grown. One has followed her heart, and one has followed her never-ending dream for strength. And it looks as if she may be getting her wish. So I think we'll name this baby Dagger. A little hidden weapon of purpose. One that she intends to send straight into the heart of the jungles, to perhaps lead her family to greatness once and for all. I think we're doing quite well though. Our food supplies are returning to their normal state once again. And as more and more babies are born with that special home island gene, we might even be ready to head off to the port soon. We just need to take care of this ape situation first. Oh, and somebody has our first leech? Oh my goodness, it's you, little honeydew. Well, I know somebody who would be very, very interested to tend to your wounds. And it looks like we have plenty of leeches over here for her to study too. So hopefully in the next episode, we'll be able to bring Illusion down the shore to see what she'll do to help conduct all of her experiments. She might soon find that Leaf isn't quite the subject that she needs, so it's a good thing Honeydew is just around the corner. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!